becoming more pale, more lethargic, and basically started turning blue. But turning blue wasn't something that was unusual for her. Usually that comes at the same time as she experiences ketones. So I just thought, she's ketotic now, need to get her home, need to get her something to eat, and need to try, it's like a process. I have like protocol at home that I do. So that's what I did, and that was the Monday. And then the Monday night, she went blue again, and I asked her dad, I said, take her to hospital. And he was like, rolling, that, oh, do I need to do this again? And I was like, you're going to have to take her to hospital. I don't care if she comes okay. If she comes okay by the time you're there, turn back and come home. It's fine. But you need to make your way. So that's what he did. And then by the time she got there, she'd had a wee nap and had perked up. So he was like, look, on Tuesday morning, the 27th of May at 5 o'clock, Brooke, my daughter, who's 5 years old, woke up and she came through to me to say she'd been sick. She hadn't really been sick. She'd just kind of gagged a bit on water. And straight away, my partner was he was to start his work, I think it's 6-ish. And I got him up. I said, look, you're going to have to take her to hospital. I'll get the boys to school. You have to go. I says, don't come back without a blood test and don't come back without an ultrasound for that stomach. Mm-hmm. And at 8 o'clock, I thought I'm going to contact, just about going on 8 o'clock, I thought I'm going to contact the GP. I thought I'm going to check in. And then I thought, because it gives me a chance to contact the GP if we're going to get fobbed off. So Colin, who's my partner, who's Brooke's dad, all my kids' dad, phoned Colin and he was like, the doctor's done a urine test. There's protein in our urine. And I said, so is he going to do a blood test then? And he's like, I don't know. He's away just now. And I could just sense we were going to get sent home. So from there, I actually phoned the GP surgery first. I phoned the GP surgery and I asked them to advocate. I said, my daughter's in hospital. She's at A&E just now. I explained her symptoms. I said, I need a GP to phone and advocate for her, that she needs a blood test and potentially an ultrasound. And they said, oh, there's no way we can do that. And I said, well, you're going to have to, because they're not listening. No, there was no way they could do that. So 8:20, Colin phoned me to say that they were on their way home. And I went, right, that's fine. Let me phone A&E. And I phoned A&E. I phoned the Royal Hospital for Children in Glasgow. I phoned A&E. I spoke to the doctor. I asked to speak to the doctor who had just seen the daughter. He was a day shift. He'd come on and handed over from the night shift at 8 o'clock in the morning. And I spoke to him, and that's the conversation. So what I did was I sat at this very desk and I phoned and I recorded it, because don't ask me why I recorded it that morning in the way that I did, because usually if I'm recording things, I would ask for permission. Mm-hmm. But I didn't ask him for permission. I just recorded it. And as soon as I got off the phone, I thought, I'm just going to record myself listening to this back. And in the same time, Brooke actually came home with her dad. So I actually ran to my bedroom. So I was still in my pajamas, ran to my bedroom, sat on my bedroom floor, put my computer on my bed and just listened to it back. Now, my eldest son had a cardiology appointment because he's still got, heart disease and everything like that. So my eldest son has a cardiology appointment. So we did the whole, who's going where, we what kid, and I said, look, we're all going today. So I came off the phone at 9:10. No, that's not true. I made the call. I came off recording. I stopped recording. So they came home. She was discharged at 8:20. I made the call within that time frame, recorded, and by the time that whole process had taken place, it was now 10:05. My son's appointment was at 11 o'clock, 15-minute drive away, and I was still in my pajamas. So I clocked that. I said to Colin, I says, no, we're all going to go. I was like, at the end of the day, we're going back there anyway. We're taking her back to A&E this afternoon. I said, so we'll just all go to the appointment, and if she turns blue in front of the cardiologist, then I'm sure they'll have something to say about it. I sat there in February 2024, I sat there and pleaded. I said, I don't care if it's not this, it's something. Mm-hmm. So she was put on, so she had been already discharged from specialist services to general paediatric services again. And nothing, so anyway, they didn't do anything in March, but this same doctor came back at 2:00 on the 27th of May, and I thought he was going to fob us off, but actually when I listened to the recording back, he wasn't actually going to fob us off. I just think that I was just in fight mode, do you know what I mean? Like, fight or flight thing, and I was like just begging him, and like, and there was like something that he said, oh, she just fits this viral kind of picture. And I was like, she's not fitting in the box. She doesn't fit in your box. I know that you want her to, but she's not. And actually, I thought it was because I told him that I'd recorded it at cardiology.
Right.
I thought that was why he did the bloods, but it wasn't. When you actually listen to it back, he did see the bruises on her legs.
Okay.
Those bruises were on her legs in the morning because they were on her legs the week before and they were on her legs the week before that. So I had put it down to her riding her bike. She just learned to ride her bike. So, and it's so funny because I'd been talking about her bruises at school. So other parents, when they found out that this had happened, other parents were like, oh my God, you were just saying about her bruises. You know what I mean? So the bruises were there, and the doctor in the morning missed that. He missed the whole thing. He sat there and he said, this was not acute. And it was acute. It's acute. I can't even remember what it's called. It's ALL. It's acute lymphoblastic leukemia.
Okay.
So it's leukemia. And it is acute. And it was acute. And I knew it was acute. And I explained why I thought that. And he completely dismissed that. And he failed. But sadly, he's not the first one. But that's just an example. That particular call is just an example of some of the utter nonsense I've been listening to probably since my pregnancy in 2015.
So I need to go back because there's a lot there, and genuinely I didn't want to stop you because I knew that I know myself, if I get interrupted when I talk, like everything just goes out my head. But first of all, I want to ask you about, you said you kind of deal with rare conditions with all your children. Is there any specific reason why that is, or is it just like just a coincidence that all your kids are got different issues? It's only what I can think of.
Right. So my eldest son has got a condition called glycogen storage disease. Did you watch the documentary that I made?
No, I have not. No, and as I said, I was coming in here almost completely blind because I wanted to kind of get all the info. But yeah, no, carry on.
So my son has got a condition called glycogen storage disease. It affects the liver. He's basically missing the enzyme that releases glycogen to glucose. So he suffers from chronic hypoglycemia and ketosis. Not all forms are ketotic, so there's only a few that are. So with glycogen storage disease, there are like 16 forms. And within those 16 forms are types A, B, C, and D. So you can imagine, these are genetic conditions. Most of glycogen storage diseases are a copy from each parent. Our condition is X-linked, which means it comes from me. It's only me. So it means it's come down. My mum's got it. My mum's got the genetic defect. My gran's got the genetic defect. So we can only assume it's come down the maternal side. So, so basically, I had my son. Things have happened really, really quick for my family. So I had 3 children under 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
And my eldest son was diagnosed at 2.5. So you can imagine how intense that couple of years and ever since has been. So my eldest son wasn't actually, none of it was taken seriously. None of it was taken seriously. Nobody did a set of bloods on him until he was 23 months old. And once they did the bloods on him,